Hello, slow parenting family from across the globe. Thank you for joining me on this brand new episode of the Slow Parenting uh, podcast and live stream on Nostalgia Media via YouTube. Thank you for having, stayed with us all through season 9. We're here today to um, do a finale, if you like, a roundup recap for what we've done on season 9 so far. We still have 2 more episodes to go. My name is still Richie Adewusi. It's that time, okay, 2 p.m. Eastern time, Standard Time, US and Canada, and 7 p.m. West Africa time, including Nigeria, where we talk all things parenting. But today we're still talking parenting and discipline. Like I said, this is a recap of all we've done so far on parenting and discipline on season 9. Okay, so a few housekeeping issues before we get going. I'm glad to announce that we have our Shopify uh, store up and running live now, and that is where you get uh, directly. If you do not want to go to Amazon or Booksbuy, you could go directly to a Shopify store. I think if those of you watching through YouTube, you could find the QR code on the screen. You could scan the QR code. You'll see beautiful merchandise, T-shirts, okay, and all parenting books, as well as some other items that you could support us, on this program by picking up any one of them through. Thank you so much as you do so. Go to Shopify, Nostalgia Media on Shopify. The QR code on the screen, you could scan to pick up merchandise, to pick up any of all my books that all of the books that you see scrolled behind me here are all available there at Shopify. Thank you. And this is also to remind you again that we are going to be taking a break from the Slow Parenting live stream and podcast from 31st of July to the 28th of August. Okay? Would no, I think that's not the right one. Sorry, that's not the right one. I'm mentioning another program, but we're taking a break all the same. So I just get to let you have that. Just a moment, please. Yeah, so we're taking a break from the 29th of July to we resume back on the live stream and podcast on the 26th of August. Okay. Uh, my bosses at the backside, my technical people have reminded me, dates and all of that could be funny. We want to give you the right date. Okay, we will take a break on the slow parenting program on the 29th, from the 29th of July, and resume with our first episode in season 10, okay, on the 26th of August. Thank you for staying with us all this while. And by the way, that also says that the Slow Parenting podcast and live stream uh, is clocked 2 years. Okay, we'll talk more about that maybe as we get to season 10. So welcome today. Like I said, we're looking at a recap, okay, of our season 9, parenting and discipline, okay, all taken from my upcoming book, um, which is Effective Parenting Strategies, the Power of Positive Discipline. Some very powerful videos in that series, okay, in-house videos, short videos that should interest you. They're all available on the Slow Parenting channel on YouTube. This particular channel, as you're watching me on YouTube, all these videos are available and many more. We have right now, we have over about 200 videos on this program, this channel. Thank you as you avail yourself the opportunity to look at the videos and look at the ones that speak to you, and don't be selfish. Share. Yeah? Yes, it's all free. You're not paying for them. And please, if you haven't subscribed to our program yet, kindly subscribe. Thank you. And if you have subscribed already, thank you for doing so. So we're going to take a rundown at the recap. We went through the first two episodes of the program talking about devices, discipline issues around the use of devices. And we, generally said to, or at least we took you through steps and strategies through which you could put healthy boundaries around technology before device addiction takes hold. Okay, you'll be in charge to control device use, viewing time, screen time, and all of that before your children and young persons become addictive, okay, and have issues around devices. You don't want that to happen. You don't want that to be the case, okay? And we also, the following two episodes after that, we talked about issues around, you letting discipline not be for correction, just for correction, but be for learning, for teaching. Those moments when your children and young people do things that trigger you, upset you, don't just think about what's happening at that moment, but think about how you could turn those situations into teachable moments. You are correcting, you are disciplining, but then let your discipline not just be to, I want to, drain this bad attitude, bad behavior out of you, and no. It's about, what have I learned? What are they telling me? What should I, what could we make out of this that will help this person to learn and remain with the appropriate behavior going forward, and not just to focus on, corrective issues, if you like, disciplining issues that just takes care of the moment and doesn't build anything into going forward. And in that, it was two episodes around the discipline myths, and then the episode also on know your child. Okay, when you know your children, you will know whether what is happening, what you are noticing is a pattern that has been there, or something that just like out of the blues, and you'll be like, oh, where did this come from? What should I learn from this? Discipline don't solve things. The traditional discipline strategies or models, they could shut children up, get them to become, we use a term like maliciously compliant, okay? They're complying maliciously. It's not that they learn nothing, it forced them, or they get cowed into keeping quiet or taking the corporal or physical punishment that you think might be the best, which is not the best. Okay, so your children to know this is not how this child behaves. Even if you say, why is this pattern repeating? And then you go through things that could build into character formation and going forward for that child, and your own peace of mind going forward. We also went ahead to talk about, that you should build connection before you bring correction. Okay, building connections before you talk about, bringing in correction. I've been talking to you at this. No, what is your relationship with that child? Okay, do you have a mutual communication relationship? Does that child understand what your cultural, traditional, family values and etiquettes are? Have you discussed those? Okay. Have you discussed boundaries, agreed on boundaries around the issues for which you are freaking out? If you haven't, okay, you need to, go visit the episode again. The videos are there. The episode on the language of connection and boundaries with soul. 2 episodes in this particular aspect now. The language of connection and boundaries with soul. You build boundaries that build on agreed, visibly, identifiable things that you've agreed on, that build on character, performance, that build on knowledge, attitude, behaviors, and practices of your children and young people going forward, not for the moment, not just for the moment. Okay? So you don't say, okay, I'm going to correct you now. Are you connected to that child? Has that child experienced you putting your arms around him or her to say, baby, look, this is not, remember we've discussed this before. Remember the other time we sat down, we agreed on this. Oh, yeah, I remember. Oh, I'm sorry. It goes from, you must hate me, to, oh, I'm sorry, I'm wrong. And then you take your child in again, and then uh, the bonding continues. Okay, the bonding continues. Uh, uh, it's exactly what we anticipate, and it's what we want to see happen. Okay, going forward. Then we went on to take you through, the issues of raising emotionally healthy children by modeling emotional health yourself. Practice what you preach. We've said it severally through different episodes that, your children want to be you. First and foremost, every child wants to be like their parents. So they're looking at you. How do you handle stress? How do you handle offensive situations? Okay? How do you handle frustration? How do you handle a hard day at work or at home, in the family? They're watching you. Okay? It's your reaction that would form their own attitudes, behaviors, and practices around those issue areas. Okay? And that's where we talked about, the issues around emotional intelligence, emotional regulations, and all of that. The videos are available on the channel. So feel free to get through them. We're doing this recap because the issue of discipline is central to any relationship issues. And especially in the issue of parenting, we say on this program that parenting is a full-time, lifetime job. And of course, best performed by a team. In this case, the team, the parents, okay, the partners that have brought the children into the world. That endeavor is best performed by both of them as a team. Even if separation had happened, even if divorce has happened. That's why I have a book, is Effective Co-Parenting. We went through all of it because we know things happen in life. For one reason or the other, people are not together. But you brought some people into the world, they still need to be taken care of. So it's a full-time, lifetime job that the two people who are responsible for bringing these children and young people into the world still need to perform that role for best results. Okay. And lastly, we looked at the ideal, strategy, the ideal planning for the benefit of that child, that young person, not just focusing on today or on achievements or attainment, but focusing on the character of, because character, the right kinds of character behavior would always put an individual in positions to attain. It might be difficult, it would be difficult, it could be difficult and challenging, but at the end of the day, with the right kind of attitude, behavior, character, will lead to what that child or young person will be doing over time, even into adulthood. And that's why we've said that, you parent with tomorrow in mind, not just today. They are not focusing on just those school grades. How did that child attain the grades?
Recording stopped.
What practice levels? What, behavioral patterns do you see? Do you see a child who is dependent on, a prop consistently to get anything done? Who seems to just focus on needing help? Needing help is not a bad thing at any stage, but there are things you expect your children and young people to be able to do by themselves going forward, increasingly, especially when it comes to the issue of decision making, choices, assertiveness, self-esteem, negotiation skills. Okay? So in all of these areas, you are asking yourself what I'm doing or how I'm relating with this child or young person now. Okay? Is it going to yield the adult that I, expect, anticipate his or she's going to be 20 years, in 30 years, in 40 years? The children themselves, he's here talking, he's 10, he's under 10. We're talking about who is going to be in 20 years. It's not done with handling now. And you are dreaming. So it's not about, it's you. Because you can think in abstract terms. You could look in abstract terms into what could be. The child thinks in concrete terms. So that your futuristic him or her tomorrow, he's not seeing it. What he's saying is now, who are you now? That's what he's saying. What are you doing now? That's what he's saying. So you are the one who would do the things that, would lead increasingly, okay, intentionally, exponentially to get that person to become that adult behaviorally, and character-wise that you envisage, you dream of going forward. So those 5 key, issue areas, if you follow through them, we're not saying there will be no conflict, but they would help you to manage conflict and come out on top and not dominate your children and young people. Everybody will be winners, okay, if we followed through all of these. Okay, so at this point, I would, for those of you who might just be joining us now, I would announce again excitedly that we now have our Shopify store live up and running, and our merchandise for this program, for the Parenting Institute, for all our parenting programs, including our books, are now available on our Shopify store. You will find the QR code on the screen on YouTube. You can scan the QR code to access our store and see all the beautiful merchandise we have there. We have some very beautiful t-shirts that you can gift people, you can gift your friends, you can gift your teachers. Okay, you could gift your parents and your friends. Thank you as you support us. There are some other merchandise being um, uploaded on the store. And then you also find our books, and especially a very unique family life education card game. You can finally get that also on our Shopify store. Thank you as you visit our store to support us on this program. Thank you so very much. And I also need to mention here that the registration, okay, for those of you who would be interested in attending the very first cohort of our global webinar on the Engendering Family Bonding Program, yes, you can also do your registration for that webinar. The webinar is in September, but we're opening registration in a couple of weeks, and it will also be available through our store on Shopify. Okay, thank you so much. We're going to play you our in-house video now. When we return, we'll be taking comments, questions, okay, and responses from our community members. So don't go away, please. Kindly watch our in-house video. We'll be back. Thank you.
Dear parents, whether you have been with the #SlowParenting podcast from the beginning of season 9 or you are just discovering this series today, this episode is the perfect place to begin. Throughout this season, we have explored the principles of positive discipline drawn from Dr. Richie Adewusi's upcoming book, Effective Parenting Strategies: The Power of Positive Discipline. If this series adds value to your parenting journey, subscribe to the #SlowParenting podcast right now and stay with us because there is much more to come. As we look back over everything we have covered, there are a few lessons we hope all parents carry away from this season. Here are 5 of the most important ones from season 9. 1. Put healthy boundaries around technology before device addiction takes hold. As our first 2 episodes reminded us that technology is a wonderful servant but a poor parent, it therefore means that there is a need to create clear routines around screens, establish device-free times, and remember that no educational application can replace meaningful interaction with your children and young people. For example, make family mealtimes or bedtime routines completely device-free, allowing relationships to take priority. Healthy technology habits are far easier to build than unhealthy habits are to break. 2. Let every discipline decision teach, not simply correct. In our episodes, The Discipline Myth and Know Your Child, we emphasized that discipline needs to be about teaching, not punishing. Before responding to an offensive behavior from your children or young persons, ask what your child or young person needs to learn and whether your response will help them learn it. For example, use difficult moments to teach responsibility, self-control, and problem-solving. Children and young people remember lessons that build character far longer than punishments that simply stop behavior. 3. Build connection before you bring correction. In the language of connection and boundaries with soul, we outlined that the strongest discipline grows out of the strongest relationships. Children and young people receive correction more willingly when they consistently experience love, encouragement, and emotional safety. For example, make it a daily habit to notice efforts, affirm positive choices, and spend intentional time listening. Connection does not remove boundaries. It makes boundaries far more effective. 4. Raise emotionally healthy children by modeling emotional health yourself. In Emotional Intelligence for Your Children and When Parenting Feels Impossible, we see that children learn emotional regulation by watching the adults who raise them. For example, respond calmly during conflict and teach healthy ways to express disappointment, anger, or frustration. Create an environment where emotions are acknowledged without allowing them to control behavior, helping children and young people learn that feelings are real, but they are not in charge. Over time, this builds resilience, self-control, and the confidence to navigate life's challenges with maturity. 5. Parent with tomorrow in mind, not just today. Our final parenting and discipline episode challenges us to stop parenting only for today's behavior and start parenting for tomorrow's adults. For example, before making a parenting decision, ask yourself, will this help build the kind of adult I hope my child becomes as an adult? When parents keep the future in view, today's challenges become opportunities to build tomorrow's character, and not just attainments. These 5 commitments bring together the heart of everything we discussed throughout Season 9. Act on these, and you can be sure many of the discipline issues you have had with your children or young people would become solvable. Please watch the live stream of this recap, where we go much deeper than this. Please engage and drop your questions. Let us interact as a community. Thank you for watching. If this video is helpful to you, please like, share, and leave your thoughts in the comments section. Kindly share with other parents who are navigating this, and stay connected with the #SlowParenting podcast community. Please subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a new episode in this series.
Welcome back. Thank you for watching the in-house video. As always, we have packaged it to simplify in one short 5 minutes take all that we've said concerning this episode. And in this case, all that we've said concerning Season 9 and my upcoming book, The Power of Positive Discipline. Okay, so we're going to take comments, and feedback from community members here now. The first one says, is there any situation at all where you would say a parent should flog a child? The first question you need to ask yourself in any kind of those situations where you are thinking of flogging or not flogging is, what's your aim? All of us have been there. So this is not some theoretical issue, okay? All of us have been there, parents, okay? What is your aim? Is it just to vent your frustration or your anger, or is it to get that child to behave in an appropriate way that conform to your culture, your tradition, your family values and etiquette, and your agreed boundaries and consequences for breaking those boundaries? Yes. If the answer is yes, you wouldn't find Cain flog as a consequence. You wouldn't find at any point in time where we said flogging should be part of your consequence in your boundaries you agree to in your family. We've said use consequences that the child will feel not pain, a loss. Okay, and I would register, I'm going to miss my pocket money, so I better not do this. I better go home now. Okay. Oftentimes, when this issue of flogging happens, they mostly happen under anger. And we've said, don't punish your children. Don't respond when you are triggered, even when you are angry. Like I said, most of us have been there. We've broken that rule I'm giving you now, including myself, in times past. But if it's that is productive in any way, I won't be telling you now. You see that bus stop, I know that bus you are on now, that route you are going on, I know the last bus stop. So come down before you get to the last bus stop. So don't. Okay. Always look for a way to talk through a situation, especially when you already have boundaries and consequences. Okay. Two, I have been trying to get my son to open up to me recently, but he has refused to. Do I just stop trying and let him know that I am there for him when he is ready? You cannot stop and say you are there for him when he's ready. It's a double speak, kind of. You don't stop. Okay? Maybe you change your strategy. Maybe you show up in different ways than you have been before. If what you've been doing before is just to answer, why did you do this? And we've said in the course of this series, the door is angry, jam the door. Don't focus on the door. Don't even answer, don't even respond that time. Eventually, when you do, don't focus on the door. Oh, that must have been a very frustrating situation. You want to talk about it? Not why did you bang the door? Why do you keep banging? I've told you. But that's your own way of wanting the child to tell you no. Even when you know the reason, or even when you knew the reason for the door banging thing, work on yourself first. Okay, work on yourself. Another community member here said, to what extent should the oldest child in the family be responsible for disciplining the young? What do you mean discipline? Behavioral. Be a good example. Be a good role model, not discipline. That's the discipline we're talking about here. Your own behavior, including you as a parent. How do you handle situations? So if you are talking about at what point should the elder siblings have the authority to flog, because that's what I hear here, to flog the siblings, no. Because that could lead to fisticuffs, punch, fights. They don't want that. Apart from that, we've said no, physical punishment, corporal punishment don't cure, don't solve anything. Okay? You are an elder sibling. How do you address, just like we said to the parent, you the parent, how do you handle situations like the one that you want to respond to? How has that child, has that your younger sibling seen you handle that situation? That is the discipline that is required of you. Be a good role model. Okay? First, the fourth person here says, my family is wealthy and my children grew up with zero discipline and a lot of entitlement. I know I messed up, but how do I fix it? This is a confession of the century. And thank you for that. Thank you for owning. Discuss. Call a family meeting, conference, start from there. And be sincere with them. This is not going to help us. It's not going to help you. Well, I was doing this because I thought this was the best way for, making you feel good and wanted and loved, but it's not. Oh, ma'am, what do you mean? That's good. No, it's not. Discuss it. There's no one size fits all about how you're going to handle this. It has to come from all of you. And then you agree, and set those your family boundaries and consequences and follow them, including you. But how do you fix it? You talk, you discuss, you negotiate, you agree, and then you move on and keep moving. By the way, our family life education card game helps in situations like this. The card game is they're just discussion starters on different life issue areas that every family member would have to talk, because first everybody will get a turn. When it's your turn to pick a card, you have to respond to what the card says. So you talk, including the parent that I said earlier. I've been trying to get him to talk and he's not talking. Play the game. The talking will happen one way or another. Okay. I know there is no one-size-fits-all system, but what are the two most important actions parents can take daily that would help any child to grow up disciplined? How you handle your own issues. That's number one. Number two, how you follow, which is also linked to number one. Well, that number two has a beginning. You have agreed on do's and don'ts in the family and what the consequences for breaking the do's and don'ts were. Okay? How you follow through, enforce your boundaries. Those are absolutes. Those needs to be absolute. And when we say absolute, it's not that they will be cast in steel. There are times people do things and you see the funny part of what they've done. Yes, you know it's bad, but discuss it still. You see what you've done. Say, you know what, you remember what we agreed would happen when you do this. Mom, now, yes, I agree. But see the funny part of it. The bottom line is you want to remain in bonded relationship with your children, even when you are correcting them. Okay. Another community member here says device addiction is serious, but what do I do about my child's food addiction? Food. Okay. She's fat now, and I don't give her the food she wants to. No. And if I don't give her the food she wants, she goes crazy. Well, in this case, we are talking about health-related issues here. You might need to seek, professional advice, dietary, nutritional, professional advice. What kind of food again? That's advice you get. But by yourself, for you to say this here now, you probably know that maybe some of the things that you made available, you maybe, I'm not blaming you, so please don't get me wrong. Maybe you've indulged that child over time with that food that the child loves, which she now sees as punishment when you are not bringing it. Okay, so you're going to discuss and then seek external help to have that discussion so that it can yield a desired outcome, which would also help the health condition of the child in terms of, avoiding something like obesity and other health related issues that could come from eating out of control. Okay, you said addiction. Okay. The last community member here says, like you said, children don't understand long-term ideas. So how do parents see them delayed gratification? It's delayed gratification. No, you teach the child by delaying, Now, seriously, what is delayed gratification? Instant gratification is that you want this thing now, you want this thing now. It's a case of who are you? How do you handle your own anticipation of rewards from your work, from your community, from your family members? How do you respond to when things that you think are due you and not, how does that child see you respond? Do you do things for their utilitarian value to others, or you do things so that you get noticed, you get promoted, you get rewarded? It's about you. If that's what your child says, it's going to be tough. So it's still about you. Okay? How do you handle disappointment when even when you are due for something, you are entitled for something and you don't get it? Okay, the craziest one right now is we're here now on YouTube, we're here now on social media. People here, oh, trending. Young people start things, their friends get 1 million views, they start something, some very good ideas, but then they get 5 views, they get discouraged. You let the child know that it's not the same day that they plant corn that you roast maize. It's a process. And there's no one size fits all in human experience. Something might happen in a particular way for an individual. For another individual, it can happen differently. You could want to use your own. This is where the issue of how do you handle things yourself. You could want to use your own individual experiences. Maybe there might be a particular one that the child or your children have witnessed. You share it. I'll give an example here. My son, when he started, creating content on TikTok, and he said, look, nobody is so hard. I said, keep doing what you are doing. First, enjoy what you are doing. Enjoy it. Just be sure that what you're doing, your idea, you know where you're headed. The people who are watching you don't know where you're going, really. So it's just they see bits and pieces. So don't stop. Keep building it. At a point, some will see the full picture. But if you give up because you did not hit 1 million viewers on a particular content that you uploaded, you will do yourself some disservice. So there's no greater area where the issue of instant gratification or delayed gratification is most obvious in social media content creation, which, well, most young people, children, they have phones, they do things, they see their friends. Let them know that, you see, there's nothing that beats this. All fingers are not equal. They're not. Okay? Take your time, keep doing your bit. What's yours will come to you, will get to you. Don't give up. Okay? Yes, it's been a wonderful episode. Okay, and once again, we are going to take a break from the Slow Parenting podcast and live stream between the 29th of July and we return on the 26th of August of 2026. Okay, so it will be for us to do some new things about the new season 10, because by the 29th of August, July, we would have come to the end of season 9. Okay, so season 10 will start 26th of August. Okay, and we also shared with you on this episode that we have a Shopify store or shop live now. You can visit it. We showed you earlier a QR code, which you can find on this channel. If you maybe go back later, you guys on TikTok, you could always go to our YouTube channel. You find the QR code for our Shopify store to patronize pick up any merchandise or any of the books or the card game, can gift your friends, your family members. Thank you as you do so. Okay. So with that, we come to the end of this episode today. My name is still Richie Adewusi. I look forward to seeing you again, same time, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, US and Canada, and 7 p.m. West Africa time, including Nigeria. Till the next episode, I say bye bye. See you.